Snowflakes fell gently over the quiet streets, blanketing the world in white. Yet the night felt anything but peaceful for Martha, a weary taxi driver with tired eyes and a heart full of ache. Christmas Eve, the night she once cherished most, had become a painful reminder of all she had lost. Her daughter, Emily, lived 2 states away, and after months of double shifts just to make ends meet, Martha had one wish left this Christmas: to see her little girl again, even for an hour. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The hook begins not with cheer, but with urgency. Martha glanced at the clock on her dashboard. 9:47 p.m. The roads were freezing, and she was still miles away from her home when the dispatch radio crackled. "Pickup request, downtown bus station, 1 passenger headed out of town." Her heart sank. One more ride meant she'd miss the last train to Emily, but one more ride also meant another $100. Money she desperately needed to send a Christmas gift she hadn't yet bought. After a long sigh, she pressed the button. "Dispatch, I'll take it." When she pulled up, the bus station looked deserted except for a tall man in a dark coat standing under the flickering streetlight. His face was calm but unreadable, his eyes tired yet kind. He carried nothing but a small suitcase. "Heading far?" she asked as he got in. "Pretty far," he said softly. "But maybe not as far as I thought." Something about his voice made her pause. Deep, careful, almost haunted. She adjusted her rearview mirror, glancing at him again. He looked out the window, lost in thought, watching the snow blur the city lights. "Cold night to be traveling," Martha said, trying to fill the silence. He smiled faintly. "Sometimes the cold makes people remember what really matters." His words struck her, though she didn't yet understand why. As the car moved through the snowy roads, they began to talk, first about small things, then about life. She told him she was trying to reach her daughter before midnight, about how Emily was her whole world. The man listened quietly, genuinely, as though every word she spoke mattered, and when she apologized for talking too much, he said gently, "No, please, keep talking. It's been a while since I've heard someone speak with so much love." Hours passed like minutes. The roads grew quieter, the snowfall heavier. Then suddenly, the engine sputtered. The taxi slowed, coughed, and finally died in the middle of a lonely stretch of road. Martha's heart dropped. "Oh, no, no, no," she muttered, hitting the steering wheel. "Please, not now." The man leaned forward. "What's wrong?" "Battery's dead," she said, voice trembling. "I was supposed to service it last week, but—" She didn't finish. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Now, I'll never make it in time to see her." He looked at her for a long moment, then quietly stepped out into the snow. "Stay here," he said calmly. "I'll flag someone down." "No, wait!" she called, but he was already walking down the empty road, his coat blending into the night. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Martha's hands were shaking. From cold or fear, she couldn't tell. Just when she began to lose hope, bright headlights appeared in the distance. A tow truck stopped beside her car, and the man returned, his hair dusted with snow, cheeks red from the wind. "I told you I'd find someone," he said with a small smile. Martha felt tears stream down her face. "You didn't have to." "I know," he said softly. "But no one deserves to spend Christmas stranded." The driver offered to drop her and the man off at the next town, where a small diner stayed open late. Inside, Martha wrapped her hands around a cup of coffee, her exhaustion giving way to quiet sorrow. She whispered, "I missed the train. She'll be asleep by the time I get there. If I ever do." The man looked at her, eyes gentle yet filled with something deep. "What's her name?" "Emily, she's 8. He nodded slowly. "You love her very much. She's all I have," Martha said. "After her father passed, it's just been us. I promised I'd always be there for her, and I keep breaking that promise." For a moment, silence hung between them. Heavy, tender. Then he said, "Maybe you're keeping that promise more than you think." Martha frowned. "How do you mean?" He smiled sadly. "You're doing everything you can to give her a better life. Sometimes love looks like sacrifice. Sometimes it looks like showing up late, but still showing up." She stared at him. This stranger who spoke like he'd lived 1,000 lives. By the time morning light broke through the diner windows, the snow had stopped. Martha thanked him for his kindness, ready to head to the station for the first train. That's when he handed her an envelope. "Merry Christmas," he said. She blinked. "What's this?" "Just a thank you." "For the company." She opened it and her heart nearly stopped. Inside was a check for $50,000. This must be a mistake. she stammered, but the man was already standing, buttoning his coat. "No mistake. You reminded me what matters. Consider it a gift. From someone who forgot how to give." She rushed outside after him, but he was gone, vanished into the morning snow. A week later, when the news broke, she nearly dropped her coffee. The man's face flashed on the TV. Ethan Clark, tech entrepreneur, philanthropist, missing for months after a personal tragedy. The same man who'd been in her cab, the reporter, said he had recently announced a new foundation to help struggling single parents, starting with a story that reminded him what Christmas really meant. Martha didn't need to hear more. She looked out the window toward the sky, tears glistening as she whispered, "Thank you, Ethan." That Christmas, she made it home to Emily, not just with money, but with something far greater, hope. And as she held her daughter close, she finally understood what Ethan meant, that love isn't measured by distance or gifts, but by the courage to keep believing even when the night feels endless. Because sometimes, the miracle you're waiting for is sitting quietly in the back seat, changing your life forever.